Hello readers, I'm the Avid Reader and today we're reviewing The Yiddish Policemen's Union, written by Michael Chabon in 2007. And in this review I'm gonna do the same thing as I did in the Sky People review, where I'm not really gonna talk about the story that much, as this is a confusing mess. A lot of stuff happens. I did not like this book. The plot is very unclear. So I'm just gonna talk a bit about this book and why I don't like it. So in this book, Israel is overrun in 1948 within weeks of it being independent. So Israel is wiped off from the face of the earth and becomes Palestine again. So then an autonomous zone in Sitka, Alaska is organized for Jews, and they get autonomy for 60 years, and they speak Yiddish in this place in Alaska, and there are several millions of Jews there, I believe. And this book takes place in 2007, and they're closing in on the period where Sitka is returning to American status and where the Jews are about to lose their autonomy. Now, this is more of a detective story than alternate history. So the plot of the story is the investigation by a detective of the murder of a Jew who is rumored to potentially have been the potential Jewish Messiah. And there's also a conspiracy in this book of Jews retaking Palestine. The problem with all of this is that these plot points are not developed in a way where you understand really what's happening. There's some terrorism attack on the Dome of the Rock in Palestine. You have people who get killed. You have action scenes that don't make any sense and that are not good. So yes, I'm very confused with the plot of what's actually happening. You have the main character, Landsman, who goes from talking to one person to another, but it's just a confusing mess. Having said that, how would I rate the Yiddish Policemen's Union? I would give it a 3 out of 10. This is the lowest rating I have given any book so far, and there's a very good reason for this. At least the Sky People had a semi-coherent plot. Here, the first third of the book it's okay, it's mediocre, but it's okay. The middle half of the book is just confusing and you're not sure what's happening. I mean, during a large part of reading this book, for me, I just zoned out. I stopped paying attention because it was just boring and I'm not sure what's happening. The action scenes were not interesting at all. The main character gets shot at some point. He then goes to some weird asylum thing. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then there's a conspiracy that involves the American government somehow and a bunch of Jews, and there's competition between Jews and Indians in Alaska. This book is just a confusing mess. World building in this book sucks. There are parts of this book that in my eyes contradict the previous parts, where I'm just confused what's actually happening at all. Like, I'm not sure how many Jews die in the Holocaust in this book. There's also some weird alternate history where things have changed in other parts of the world, but that's not well developed. At least in the Sky People, S.M. Sterling makes clear there have been these changes with China. These countries have colonized these planets. This is the worst alternate history book, and maybe the worst book I've ever read. And that's saying something. So yeah, I would give this a 3 out of 10. I would definitely not recommend it at all. If you want to read some Jewish alternate history, you should read something like Alpha and Omega. If you want to read some detective story mixed in with alternate history, then you should read Fatherland. I would never recommend you reading this book, The Yiddish Policemen's Union. If you enjoyed this book review, then I would recommend you check out my book review of Alpha and Omega by Harry Turtlelove, which is good alternate history involving a lot of Jews and the return of the Jewish Messiah. Read Alpha and Omega instead of this book. Anyways, I'm the Avid Reader, and I will see you readers next time.